Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Tuesday, February 11, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tomorrow night at February 12, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to cover the upsurge of tariffing money into our country and what that means for the American people. The ultimate pleasure within you comes naturally to you on its own accord. It cannot be forced or manipulated to occur. In fact, quite the opposite is true. It happens effortlessly when you are resting deeply, simply being with everything that is. That's like meditation, where you find a comfortable place. You have no outside distractions. You relax into your body. You're as still as a statue. You're focused on your breath, rising and falling. When any of us are really, truly, deeply at peace, totally relaxed with ourselves, our life, and everything and everyone in it, just as they are right now, massive pleasure arises. These things do not have to change for any of us to find peace inside of us. We have full permission to relax and allow life to be the way it is right now. Nothing needs to happen so that we can relax deeper. We can simply choose to let go of the mind's struggle to change everything and consciously choose to slow down, turn our attention within, and look deeper inside ourselves. This is what we haven't truly done yet, and is the doorway to letting ultimate pleasure come flooding in. The deeper we can dive within ourselves, the easier it is to see, feel, and explore the divinity within our being. We can only know others as intimately as we know ourselves. The more open we are to experiencing everything that is inside us, no matter how ugly, depressing, angry, or shameful it is, the more joy, pleasure, and bliss can enter our being. When we accumulate stuff, emotionality, happenings, experiences, and we accumulate and they build up. And it disallows us to move into peace within. And a lot of us will ignore a lot of things because of the trauma, because of what it was, either what we did, what we were involved with. And we kind of just go, put that in that closet and shut that door, and I really don't care to visit that. Might be too painful for some, too traumatic. And so, instead, open in a closet and let it all come out. That's it. That's courage. That takes a lot of courage in many instances with us, because we don't care to have that. We have it, but we ignore it. Okay? So it's there, and it may somehow leak through on how we are with others and interactions and so on and so forth. But when we embrace it all, and we forgive ourselves, it vanishes. It's gone. Now, it's not like, one might say, well, that, I could go up and shoot somebody and then just forgive myself and everything's fine. No, we're not talking about that. That's karmic debt, heavy duty. The more open we are to experiencing everything that is inside us, no matter how ugly, depressing, angry, or shameful it is, the more joy, pleasure, and bliss can enter our being. Those who cry hard can laugh even harder. Whatever uncomfortable feeling you discover inside you is just a feeling, and it's going to change with time. You might as well experience it while it's here, because the more you resist and avoid it, the more it tends to stick to you. The more you allow for whatever experience you're having right now. And the more you turn into the great pleasure vessel that you actually are. There's nothing more important for any of us than finding peace within ourselves. You'll merge with the ever-flowing eternal river of good feelings, infinite love, eternal peace, and total freedom when you finally come to rest at the core of your being. Learn to sit quietly, in silence. Meditate for long periods of time on stillness. When you dive inside yourself and only find a city of various lunatic personalities living in one big madhouse without any doors, this is a good sign. You are simply resurfacing old abandoned garbage, cleaning house, clearing away the emotional muck that wasn't taken to the local dump and not the recycling center. This permanent bliss that we are is inside and beneath this enlightening pile of junk within. Our inner mess can distract us, or it can also motivate us, all depending on our approach to it. So let it inspire you to dive straight to the core of your being. Do not stop to be drained and entertained by any broken, angry, victimized, heartless houses inside you. Look in their cellars. Notice what's underneath, at the foundation of your being. Once you dig deep enough and wait long enough, you'll strike a small vein of satisfaction within and never be the same again. When you discover that which is truly real, satisfying and everlasting inside your core, it is very hard to become addicted and hypnotized again by the false promise of temporary outer pleasures. You'll be able to really enjoy the decadent slice of chocolate cake now, because the temporary joy it gives you will be fed by an eternal spring of pleasure from a deeper well within. And it's a choice for any of us to go far beyond the old limits of pleasure our body is used to experiencing every day. We want you to find and transcend your pleasure boundaries. Every day start receiving the greatest levels of pleasure in whatever form they come in. Hit all the best categories: sensual, sexual, emotional, mental, and spiritual. You start feeling uncomfortable with your new levels of pleasure after day one, and you're probably going to be an A+ student. Anytime you hit a pleasure ceiling and start to feel uncomfortable, check inside with yourself and see if it's remotely possible to receive more pleasure. When you can, then keep going. And if not, then choose to stop. Follow the pleasure principle. Always do what feels good. Tune into the sensations inside your body and watch what all happens in your mind. See, it's why I always say it's all about you. It's always about you. And that's, now one might misconstrue that as being selfish or arrogant or egotistical. That's only from ego mind. I'm talking heart mind. And as Osho stated, you cannot be happy with a serious mind. With a festive mind, you can be happy. Take this whole life as a myth, as a story. It is one, but once you take it this way, you will not be happy. How many of us, when you may want to ask this of yourself in the quiet time of the meditation. Whenever you do not allow yourself to trust the process of this life, we tend to cling to it all along the way. You ever notice that? We cling to it. And of course, we all know worrying is the mind attempting to not create what it doesn't want by obsessing about what it doesn't have or want. It's a spin cycle. It's unconscious. It's exactly how we manifest more of what we don't want. And it's one of the greatest ways to drain our manifesting vibration. Now, if we're always thinking about what we don't want to happen, how much energy is left to focus on what we do want to happen? It's like, when you become aware to a certain extent, you're the one that says, I am not going to put my energy in that direction. You say that because you know, why would I expend that energy in that direction? Does it serve me the greatest good? No, it doesn't. Does it serve me the greatest good to get in an argument with somebody, right? Over something so trivial that it's so minuscule that you would normally just kind of let it blow by. This is about our awareness with ourselves. It's not judgment, see? We're taking our mastership back through our heart minds. We have not been the masters of our lives for millions of years. All of us have not been the masters of our lives for millions of years. You can go on and say billions, but right now we'll just say millions. One might say, so has the ego mind always been my master in all my lifetime? Yes. This is why you hear me say over and over again, with the celestial chamber, there's going to be a lot of spirituality, natural, organic spirituality. And we will start recognizing as a species where we choose to put our attention. Doesn't matter what's going on out there. Really doesn't. That's the show. Oh, well, it'll affect my life. It'll do this. Yes, if you focus on it. How many people in this very now moment and on this planet are stressing, anxiety-filled? I'd say a lot, a large amount. Different things, different situations. But when we become aware enough, we identify this stuff. We know that if we put our attention, it's like Alice will put her attention over here. Now, one Alice will put her attention over there, and where attention goes, energy flows. Now, the other Alice will put her attention, she will say, I don't care to put my energy in that direction. Does it serve me the greater good? No, it doesn't. How do you know that? Because I've been there before. I've done that. I've gone that path before. I know what it does as far as me and how it causes me to feel caustic to myself, irritable. So I don't care to go there with it. And then when that's the case, you shift and say, what do I want to focus on right now for me? It's got to start with you. It can't. See, it's like putting the cart before the horse. You're not going to be able, with ease, okay, and peace, to interact with others until you're able to do that with you. And not just once in a while, but all the time. That's a great lesson in our lives, is that I believe that most of us kind of really know that, but yet, again, we have that closet that we don't care to go into. Things that we've accumulated. And for us, those things can be scary, even though they've already taken place. But they're scary. So we say, no. It's just like people don't care to look at the other side of the picture. No, I'm just going to look at this side. No, come on over here. You got to see both sides. No, I'm not going to go over there. Have you ever been with yourself and you had something bugging you, and you say, oh, that'll go away. And it does. But then it comes back. And it seems even stronger when it comes back. And a lot of us do this throughout this life. We never face it. We never embrace it. We just we kind of keep it at bay, but it drains us. It's like when we don't have any attachments, right, or expectations, because we've all been there with attachments and expectations on many things in this life. Relationships, material possessions, ourselves. And then we begin to wake up. It's a choice. And we begin to discover a lot of things about ourselves, but we know that we're not analyzing, critiquing, or judging ourselves. It's a discovery. Why would any of us care to carry heavy stuff instead of just forgiving ourselves and letting it go? This is why a lot of us, in the beginning, right, we're kind of like pure babes. We don't have personalities. We don't have character. We're these little teeny baby bodies. We're in them, the gods that we are. And none of that stuff, all of that stuff starts to come. And we're open vessels, and we just absorb it. So wouldn't you say how absolutely impactful it is on what influences us in the beginning? Huge, huge, huge. What is it that influences us in the beginning? And it may be that every single one of us is different, a little bit different here, depending on our surroundings, depending on our parents, whoever. But what would happen in the event that the majority of us were influenced in the beginning, where we were shared, where one would share with us their comprehension that we were gods in those bodies? What do you think would happen? And also, we would teach them how to master their ego mind and what the ego mind is and how it was created. And we would show them. We would show them footage of people arguing. This is what happens with ego mind. This is what happens with ego mind here. So that they begin to comprehend what it is. What is ego mind? What is the mind? And the whole reason that any of us are in these bodies is to enjoy this life, but at the same time, discover who and what we are while we're in these bodies. It seems it is different. It isn't what you would call your average flow. This is why so many of us don't walk that way or embrace it. And it can't be repeated enough. I mean, it's just over and over and over again until we completely embrace it. And when you review everything, right? And you say, this is irrefutable. This isn't even argumentable. It isn't. This is who and what we are. And we're in organic bodies so that we can experience many things in material physical world. We create the material physical world so that we can experience it. We create universes, galaxies, star systems so that we can experience it. That's it. So you can see that the imagination goes way beyond imagination. And this is why that the collective consciousness is so vast, so knowing, and so aware, and so loving. It's because there are literally trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of organic bodies, for the most part, that we enter. All across this galaxy, all across the great expanse, interlinking and connecting universes, and beyond. Do you think it stops with universes? No, that's just the beginning. You can put an entire universe inside a pea. An entire universe inside of a pea, the size of a pea. But the interior is the universe, just as vast as this one, even more so. There are universes 1 trillion times larger than this one, and even more so as we move forward. There are beings, there are physical forms of beings that us gods enter to experience. And we all create, once we become aware, we manifest things, we create things. Some of them we experience, we experience everything we create. And it works. It's been working for trillions and trillions and trillions, eons. And it's basically up to us. It's our discovery. Every one of us, we discover this. We perceive it. We look at it. And we open a big door and we walk right in, and there's the soul and the God within the soul. And you start realizing this body that I'm in allows me, and then you list it all. What does it allow you? And see, we cannot take this life seriously. It really disrupts us. And that sounds strange to many because of how they've been configured, how they've been formatted, and how they've been programmed. Because that doesn't compute, doesn't register. Right? It really doesn't. We have all the tools we'll ever need. We have all the tools to master our ego mind that we'll ever need, to become fully aware of who and what we are, to know that everything is temporary, and that we are the only thing that is real, the gods that we are, the pure consciousness. Everything else is an illusion. It's created by the pure consciousness, the collective consciousness, of which we all are. And we experience these bodies forever, how long, and then we leave them. And we never die. And that's why it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we are pure consciousness in an organic body that collectively we created, specifically for us to experience material physical life and to learn about who and what we are really in the body. That's a challenge. When we're heavily immersed in the material physical organic body, that's a real challenge. To shift into and comprehend that I am not this body, I'm not the ego mind, I'm none of this stuff. I'm the God within the body. I'm pure consciousness, pure cosmic energy. I'm a ball of light. I can be anywhere and go any place as that ball of light within seconds, throughout the galaxy, throughout the universes, as I choose. But it's only because I'm aware and I was able to learn this and experience this while I was in material physical form. You see how it's set up? Quite interesting, isn't it? Master this, and then these doors open. You master what's behind those doors, and then more doors open. And then you continually master. And you experience. And it's really, whatever you can imagine, you can create. Easy peasy. Not gut-wrenching and grimacing and pulling. And it's easy peasy. But you see what happens is that so many of us are combative with that. We fight it. You see? We fight it. We don't embrace it. We fight it. We don't encourage it. We don't expand it. We fight it. And why is that? Well, because our master right now is the ego mind in most cases. So it's our master. And more of us are beginning to realize, I don't really care to have it be my master. It's not a good master. I prefer to have it be my servant, because I believe I can direct it through heart-mindedness. Then that way it will find eternal peace and it will dissipate and no longer be. And we will have learned the difference between ego mind and heart mind. We always see there's always the yin, the yang. We've got to have that balance, see? Hot and cold, black and white. I mean, all of these variances that we learn, that we experience. How are you going to know if the water's cold in the lake? Well, you could say, well, it's snow and there's ice and it's freezing outside, so the water is probably really cold as well. But how are you going to know for sure? Well, you could stick your toe in there or dive right in, and then you would know, wow, that's really cold. How do you know a liquid is hot? if you've never seen anything called boiling. You don't. All of this is laid out for us in material physical form so that we can learn the yin and the yang. See? Both sides, not just one. Always look at both sides. Through heart-mindedness, not ego mind, and ego mind will get you all messed up. So when you in a quiet silence meditation, as you're just being, total silence, what is it? What is the one thing? What is it that you truly want in this life? One thing. One thing. That's not easy for many of us. It's just one thing. We've got, like, lined up stuff. But one thing. What is it? You're in your heart-mind. Now is the time to identify that one thing. Join in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Excuse me. Take an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on the breath rising and falling. Just notice who or what is watching these thoughts. This conscious witness is a pointer to who you really are. Those whirling dust storms of ideas may be distracting you from hearing the divine hum of your innermost being. Keep watching the watcher. And eventually, when you're infinitely patient, the dust will settle. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here Wednesday, February 12, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our time for change call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart. Allow the magic to flow in.